start. I hope everything is working perfectly with everyone because I cannot hear anyone. And Lavina, I don't know, you were on mute, I think, when you gave the introduction.
Perfectly fine, Achal. Please go ahead. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So let me just start with the presentation. 1 second. So I'm Achal, and we are a Mumbai-based production house where we make films, documentaries, like anything which is related to camera, video, we do that. We are into business from last 5 to 6 years. A very quick introduction about our company. We do TV commercial, digital films, documentaries, everything. But at the same time, we specialized in video production for the events. So all event agencies, we are basically the service provider for them whenever they have any requirement from their client for the event, whether it's a live screening, live streaming, put content on screens, after movie, brand films, promo, we all do that. Very quickly, I want to tell you that what we have done. YouTube Fan Fest since 2014 in Bombay, we are doing it. We do a lot of lives for Twitter, Mahindra Blues Festival. We work with global team of Red Bull. We put all their action events and other events live. So before this COVID thing, we were all doing all these things live on ground. Now, what happened when COVID came? Again, everything. Then first day of lockdown, the calls that all our projects are on hold. There was no activity, like because we all are making videos and everything was on hold. But we were part of this live streaming and we were part of this making content and putting on YouTube everything. We came up with an idea. I reached out to a Singapore-based company with help with technology because they have better systems, reliable internet, everything. And we started our brainstorming. Within a span of last week of March and April, we came up with some softwares and hardware solutions where we can give our studio-based production to the brands. But the challenge which we faced here, it's not how news channel works where they have a professional softwares, professional team, and they are all working from under one roof. The challenge for us that even my team was working remotely. I was with no one. So in that case, we need to change the entire plan and make sure that the backend team also come together and start putting all these shows together. What we are doing before on ground together under one roof, we replicated that same model, but now everyone is working from home, like my director, my audio engineer, my graphics engineer, everyone. And once we, after a lot of testing and brainstorming, once we have that solution, we move to our brands and we pitch our ideas. Maybe in during the presentation, I'll explain you. So let me take you with few work which we are doing currently for Netflix, which will explain you what and how we are doing it. So Netflix, all the OTT platforms are working very well. They are promoting a lot of content these days, but to create that buzz, they need that social content which needs to go, the press and everything. So they used to do a regular junkets, press conferences where cast comes and there are a lot of journalists and they ask 10-minute questions and they put it on their channels. For example, Aaj Tak, Hindustan Times, NDTV, so many. So we gave them a solution that, everyone will log in remotely, even your cast, even the journalist, even the backend team, and even the client team. And there is a team of 20 people who are working behind it to make this possible. And our technology makes it happen that we have how we do in our actual zone. We have a green room, we have a live room, and this entire flow works. So right now we have done at least 3-4 junkets for Netflix, Extraction, Mrs. Serial Killer. We just completed Betal, and soon we're going into Choked premiere and lives. So in all those videos which we record, which we are doing remotely, are all professionally broadcast quality videos which are on news channels. You can see it on different news media agency channels. And again, dealing with all these talent, journalists, And even journalists are not from India. They were from different countries like Singapore, Sri Lanka, and other countries. So this is a very quick idea. If you see how this PCR room looks like, how the final output looks like, it's very different. These all are journalist cast, and we have given all the recording to the channels. Here goes our Mrs. Serial Killer Junket, ABP and HT. We have again, we have done live series for Red Bull on the Instagram channel, where we ask them that, instead of the regular Instagram live, we can put more people than two. We can put graphics, we can put your end slate, so many things like a news video room happens. So we able to done that. Another case study is ICC panel discussion. They want to do a 30-minute talk show, but again, everyone is in different country, like one from Australia, one from South Africa and London. They all come together, they record, we give them the footage, they edit, and they make a proper show like how they used to do it before. At same time, we are working with Google, we are working with TEDx Singapore, Wise, for these kind of things. So we are able to do this in last 1 month. So now this is possible. Now let me take you through how we do this. This is Red Bull, this is ICC. The process is very simple for the client and for the talent who is coming on the platform. They just need to log in into our software. It's a browser-based software where they don't need to do anything. All the backend work is done by us. They just need to log in how we log in into Zoom or Hangout or Skype. They just need to log in and they just need to talk or follow instructions. For example, they come on stage, instead of coming on stage, they're logging into a laptop. As simple as that. Then we take care of everything in the backend, and what we show to the world, it's very different. How they interact with people, that all we take care. And we can record this also. Just for a note, we also have a capability of do this thing in 4K if the bandwidth of person, if the internet allows. I know in India it's difficult, but there are some places where they have amazing internet and they can also push 4K. For them, it's very simple. They just need a laptop. They just need a good internet connection and a good headphones and mic and a nice place where there's even lighting. That's it. There's another question which Lavina asked me yesterday. What will happen after lockdown as per the technology? Like this is right now, it's a limited number of things people have, but still we are making use of it. But there are so many things. For example, Shure has launched a mic, and you can do a green curtain, so many things that we can do a studio-based production from home, or your event experience, everything from home. The reach, if we talk about that, we can go live on all the platforms at same time, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, we can go live. We can also put the live into Zoom. So for example, right now, there are 100 people on Zoom call right now, but I am speaking. But instead of me, if I send a camera to an event and we record everything, we can bring that as a view. So 100 people in a closed room in Zoom can view that, which could be a private thing. Now, the question is this relevant post-COVID also? Yes, it's not that these things are not available before or we were not willing to ask. It just, that time no one saw the requirement because everyone was there with each other. So I have put down very few points just to understand. It has a worldwide reach. It has a free and easy reach. You can reach to everyone. You can reach to any country. It's free. It's easy. It saves travel time, availability of talent speaker. Quick example, if there's a brand who wants to do an interview or wants to bring some big talent to an event, and they'd say, we don't have time, we can only give you 20 minutes. But in our country and city, is not possible because travel takes 2 hours and everything. In that, you can just figure this out, like, no problem, sir. You just log in wherever you are and you be part of that show. How all news channels, it happens. Low cost, less setup time, and again, it's evolving. It's a lot dynamic, a lot of things can happen. The applications, we can do anything. Wherever you think we can put camera, you put your laptop, you can do. For example, if you're doing a show and only few people can come. You can go live without. Earlier we used to send 50 people, 100 people on show, so many people working together. Now we only send one camera or two camera, and then everything will be uploaded to PCR, and we are done. We will take care everything remotely. So all these applications is possible: music shows, comedy, interactive sessions, press conferences, and we are doing it. It's not that we are not doing it. Like right now also, I put two mobile phones with me, and we can switch from the PCR, which is again remotely situated. So much of technology has come. Like even I can replace my web camera for a better quality with my phone, with just have help of with an app. So yesterday only we spoke about this, and this is the question which Lavina asked me, and I think if I answer this question, it will help a lot of people. That So I'll just read out this question to you first. I would like to know the possibilities of engaging audience if there is an event, let's say 50 people at the actual event, 100 people at the call, and the rest are watching a live view stream. Is that possible? Or what are the various formats that event manager can look at it? If there are multiple performing from different location, be streamed to a single venue or setup required. So yes, the answer is yes. We are doing this. For example, if Shah Rukh Khan is sitting in Bandra, Amir Khan sitting in Andheri, both can talk to each other. You want to make it only private to 50 people, or to only private to a self-login website where only limited people can see. Same can go on YouTube, Facebook. And these artists, no need to do anything. They just need to log in how they log in. Everything will happen at the back end. It's actually very much similar like how news channel works, but they have so much of investment. They work under one roof. We are also using the same technology, same investment, but we achieve this by sitting at home and even functioning remotely. Like a director of show can also sit at her house. I am at my house, and my PCR is a different location. We can give you graphics. So all those things are possible. So again, I think we don't have much time. I have no clue what time, but it's whatever you guys want. If there is an idea, we are ready to collaborate. We need to brainstorm. We need to find way how to do this. Everything is possible with so many people to one person, or from one person to so many people. It's possible. So any of the event agencies, when they're working with their clients, they want to understand that how to bring back those days and figure out. We are happy to collaborate. I know there's no time to have any Q&A or understand your perspective, but I'm happy to have those questions with you, or maybe Lavina can share those answers. Lavina, if there's more time, let me know. I can speak more, or if you think it's
Achal, yeah, you can definitely speak for a couple of minutes more, but there are lots of questions in the chat. Maybe after your presentation, you can kind of respond to them on the chat.
Okay, let me do that once. It is all a pre-recorded content, right? Not live. No, this is live also. It's not a pre-recorded content. That's an option. That right now we can't go to each other's house. We are recording, but we can go live also. Yes, day before yesterday only for Netflix, we did a live where 6 talent came together discussing about a film. It's a promotional exercise, and we also preview their trailer and other things. Can you show us a sample of same, like a start and a, right now I cannot show you the sample, but again you can connect with me and I can show you how this works and samples. But again, you can go to ICC official website. This is the talk show which is on YouTube. You can see it. You can write extraction interviews with Randeep Hooda. You can write Mrs. Serial Killer interviews with and Betal. You will see all news channels have those footage with Netflix branding. That's all done through us.
Okay, Achal, I think the rest of the questions you can possibly take it up on the chat itself. We should be moving on to Alok now.
Thank you, Lavina.
Thanks, Achal, so much. That was really insightful, and there's a whole lot of questions, but please do respond to them on the chat.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, I'd like to now introduce to you Alok Verma. Alok is working with, he's been the lead facilitator for Focus You Engage. They're a team that do some really, really fantastic team building and audience engagement activities. With COVID now, the new normal for them is to naturally pivot to digital, which they have been doing. I will now hand this out over to Alok. Welcome, Alok. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lavina. Thanks a lot, and thank you for a beautiful introduction. I would like to congratulate you and Eventpreneur for setting this stage up so that we can come here and share with each other what is happening, what is working and not working in the industry.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And so as all of you are here, a part of the industry, we also completely went, we were not prepared that this is coming our way, and the new change is lockdown, and we are all looking forward for new avenues and new solutions. So we took some early calls, getting ourselves into virtual, and we saw some advantages and some benefits of it. I would like to share some of it with you. So I would just share a small PPT. Just give me 1 second. I will just share that with you here. And let me. Can you see the PPT?
Yes. Yes.
Great.
We can see it, Alok. Yeah.
Thank you, Lavina. So guys, as Lavina said that we are into employee engagement, we are into experiential learning from last 1 decade now, and we were lucky enough to do work with a lot of brands, a lot of different organizations and event partners in this time. So when we came into picture, the whole question which was asked to us, the question which we're always answering is how do we engage? So if you see any event scenario or otherwise in a corporate meet scenario, engagement is a very, very important ingredient. So L&D managers and CXOs and event partners used to come back to us and ask that what can we do to engage people in a unique way. So we used to go back with a lot of unique, unconventional experiential learning offerings, and we used to do a lot of interesting work. So we were solving that problem all this time. Even in an event, if you see, when we look forward to create that experience, we create an awesome stage, a great backdrop, a great LED, a great entrance. At some place, we really want that engagement to happen. We want people to go back with the memories. So where we were helping event partners was to create a memory where people can personally participate, each individual can contribute and build or co-create something together. So this is what we were doing so far. And if I can say pre-COVID time or pre-COVID era, what we were doing is a lot of work around indoor team building, indoor engagements, be it cooking together or building things together or creating something together and testing it out, or design or creating a movie or video together, and all that kind of work we were doing in indoor. We were doing a lot of work in outdoor, be it a race or going outdoor and building together again something from a cart to a boat, all of that. And also we were doing a lot of keynote sessions on special topics for our partners and our customers. So this was all what we were doing before COVID. And then what happened? 24th March 2020 happened. It happened to all of us. We all went into a lockdown. So like all of you, we were doing some 60 odd workshops in a month in those days. From 60, we almost came to a 0. It completely froze. Orders got cancelled, bookings got cancelled, and you know the whole story. So my team came together, we all came together and sat together and brainstormed that what can we do next. So we went back to our customers. We asked our customers that what can we do for them? Is there something we can help them with? So initially the customers were a little, in a state of denial, I would say. We all were thinking that, we will go back and to the same normal, which we call not the new normal. This whole lockdown will stay for a week or more or 2 weeks, and then things will be normal again, and then we'll talk about. So initially, a lot of customers told us, just wait, let's see what happens, and then we'll talk about how we can engage or we can learn together. But then slowly the reality came on all of us, and then we all realized, and we all know now, that this lockdown is not a short-term game. It will stay for a little longer. And even when the lockdown is over officially, people coming together in a gathering, be it a celebration or an event, would also take some time to actually reach where it was earlier. And we never know what is coming forward now. So we said, okay, the whole obvious choice is going to virtual. So our team together started working on virtual activities. We wanted to understand how we can create the same experience virtually, and that gave birth to the virtual team building. So we initially started with few activities, and then we added more and more, and now we have a full spectrum of activities which we have created for our customers. We have done dry runs and we have given it to our customers, and now sitting in the month of May, we are fortunate enough to run these activities, multiple of them, for many customers, from team size of as small as 10 people to all the way up to 400 people. So this has given us a lot of confidence to pivot towards this side, and we can see a lot of potential. When I say potential, guys, the whole scale is different. We are getting bigger and larger workshops which we were not planning earlier. We are doing global events now, global workshops, sitting in our home, because it is all virtual. So the scale is bigger. There is no boundary of a conference room. We are not limited to those seating arrangements given by the hotel or the banquet. So the scale is really big, and the cost is very effective. So post COVID, if I would say what we are doing right now, we have done all kind of work. We have done from scavenger hunt, finding stuff in your house, to a laughter yoga, to creating movies together in celluloid, to Museum Magic, where we created a whole anthem together, to a virtual Tambola. And this is just a small list. The list is much longer. I would invite you to come to my website and find out the different activities we do. I have a small video I would like to share, but sometimes videos don't get a very good audio here in the Zoom. So I would also share the link of the video with you guys. Let me just see, how can I do that? The chat, just a second. I'm putting a link here as well, and it's on my YouTube channel as well. And let me play the video. If you do not get the audio, then I can talk about it as well. Here you go, guys. All the clips are post 24th March, not before that, everything. This is a dance activity which we conducted. This is the Museum Magic activity which I was speaking about. Those who are not getting an audio, please use the link which I have shared. You can see the video on YouTube as well. This is the most popular Don't Rush Challenge. And people have been so participative in all these activities. Amazing energy we have seen in all these workshops which we've conducted. Apologies for audio issue. Sometimes it does happen. So yeah. So guys, here is the whole thing. When we started in March, when we started thinking about what can we do virtually, now our mindset has changed and we are looking at what can't be done virtually. So that's a point which we all have to think and reflect. The possibilities are immense. There are so many things which can be done virtually, and every day, every week, we are doing new activities, finding new ways to engage our partners and our clients. That's where the answer is, that there is immense possibility in virtual engagement. And I'm sure the panelists here will come back with a lot of technical know-hows on how we can actually conduct a great virtual event. And I'm really looking forward to that. For now, as a very special gesture for all the event partners here who are listening to me, we're doing free demo sessions for you and your employees so that you can understand these activities, experience that themselves, and then go ahead and pitch it to your customers. If you want to do that with us, go ahead and get in touch with me. My credentials will be here in the chat very soon. Lavina will share it. And do get in touch with me. I would love to catch up with you on the other side. So this is it from my side, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me, and over to you, Lavina.
Thank you so much, Alok. Every time I listen to you, I get like 5 more new ideas, and that kind of really gives me a kick, because it gives me something to keep presenting that's new. So super.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to having you again with us very soon.
Cheers.
Okay, guys, the next person I'd like to introduce is Raghav. Raghav is he's someone I have known for many years. I have known him in various capacities. We've worked together. We've had a lot of conversations. There's a whole lot that he has brought to me in terms of making my own work better, actually. So here we have Raghav. I will not go much into his professional details. I think a lot of people already know him here. He is the founder of Livewire Experience. I think everyone knows that. So we will not go too much into all your professionals. Let's just hear what you have to say about your new campaign now, which is reboot, reinvent, and renew. That is what your focus is for this year. It's something that that I think all of us would want to kind of know about. One of the biggest things today is reinvention. We all know that. We have all been kind of pushed into this corner, and we have no option today but to reinvent. So over to you. Let's just figure out what you're doing and how we can all learn from that.
Thanks, Lavina. Thanks for the warm introduction and welcome. Yeah, Lavina has been a great friend and a support to us over the last, many years. I also like to thank you for taking this wonderful initiative, Lavina, getting our entire ecosystem together to discuss ideas, exchange notes in the way forward. I think, collaboration is definitely very important at this point, and peer-to-peer, networking and idea exchange. I'd like to thank all speakers for joining in this afternoon. I think they've all offered great insights. Alok, I love the stuff you guys showed. Achal, same thing with you guys. Well, I think we all know it's most definitely going to be a new world out there. Enough has been said about the overrated new normal, if I may use that term. Sure. And I think now we just need to kind of adapt. And the time has now come to put our thoughts, learning, energy, and action, and may I say even experimentation. It's time to kind of experiment with a whole lot of things. I honestly feel as an industry, we needed to pause. Very honestly, Lavina, you've been in this industry for so long. We've been around for a long time. I think we needed to pause, take a look around, think of our future, think of our ecosystem as a whole, and from the viewpoint of an outsider. Of course, we didn't need a pandemic to do that. But unfortunately, I think as entrepreneurs, many a time we're all so caught up in our day-to-day hustle and getting things together. We often end up looking, end up avoiding the bigger picture and don't look at how we're going to map our way forward or where we're actually headed. I'll speak for myself. This time has really given me a lot of things to think of in terms of how we're operating, how we're doing business, our financial health, other prospects as an entrepreneur. And I think it's really slowly brought me to the subject of my session, the new normal that requires us to reboot, reinvent, and renew ourselves as professionals and as organizations. Well, I don't really have any presentation. This is just a little chat of my own thoughts, and people can beg to differ as well. But, well, why the need to reboot? I think this current phase is almost like a lot of us starting up. Takes me back to many years ago in 2004-5 when we were starting up. And those early days, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of insecurity, a lot of experimentation. This post-COVID phase, I think, is really going to be a jumpstart. And if we look at it positively, and that's the only way to look at it now, because obviously we've only been speaking negative all this time, the last 2 months. The only way now to look at it is positively. And I think we all get a chance to kind of change what we have been doing wrong and also correct our paths, fix our mistakes, move forward, move on to becoming stronger, wiser, adapting to the new normal as we get back to our businesses. Look, things are not going to be the same again. I think we all know that as far as our business is concerned, as far as allied industries are concerned, whether it's events, whether it's media, whether it's television, whether it's advertising, whether it's the wedding industry, it's not going to be the same. I think let's all use this time. Let's hit restart, look at the next 5 years as the true digital era, which will really kind of help us grow, which will help us learn. So I think there's no option for us but typically to reboot and to push the restart button at this point. The need to reinvent, I think, again, as entrepreneurs, or rather, let me say entrepreneurs driven by passion, and that's what puts us apart from regular entrepreneurs or businessmen. Our business, all of us have chosen this path truly, truly driven by passion. We've constantly spoken of reinventing our businesses, our work, the way we operate. I discuss this with friends all the time, with peers from the industry, how we need to reinvent ourselves creatively, reinvent our processes, so many other things. But how many of us have really stepped back and gone down this route and said, hey, I'm going to step away from my business, look at it as an outsider's perspective. Let me see how this is going to work out, and let me see how I should be reinventing. Has this happened? I don't know. I don't think so many of us have really slowed down to do this. Well, I think today's situation offers us, again, another opportunity, an opportunity to reinvent our businesses. And this is not just going to be jargon anymore. It's not just going to be a line that people throw at each other that, hey, man, you should reinvent. Because I think those who don't end up walking this path, unfortunately, will end up perishing through the days ahead. As Alok also mentioned, this is not something that is for COVID or for the next 3 months or for the 6 months. Once our clients taste blood, most honestly, once our clients taste blood at a cost at what they're getting digital events or virtual events compared to actual on-ground events and going up and putting all that infrastructure, they're going to wisen up and they're going to choose that, hey, when do I actually need a physical event? When do I need a virtual event? When do I need a digital event? So we are going to be left with no choice but to get into reinvention. And as Alok also said in his chat, that they've been able to do so much more by exploring this digital thing. They could probably never accommodate 150 people, or as he said, in a particular boardroom or a particular ballroom or a classroom. Well, for me, I would think, do our businesses have to be so people dependent? Should our personal cost be so high? Who are we going to be competing against in the days to come? What's our level of preparedness? How can we stay on the bus, not get thrown off? There's so much for each of us to think about the way we operate our businesses. Currently, our businesses have been completely relying on people. I think it's a major cost hit for all of us agencies, and we're all feeling the pinch at this point. Should this be replaced by tech? I don't know. That's a thought. Is our market going to be about reinvention or about disruption? That's another thing. Again, there's a lot of disruption which is actually going to come in. I think that's food for thought. As far as reinvention goes, as we said, I just said our clients are also having similar thoughts as well. We've been talking to multiple clients. They've all been having very similar thoughts. Do they really need these large budget events? Are they really going to miss it, or do they have alternatives? When you have thousands of people at an event, what is the effectiveness? Now, today we are thinking about it and taking a step back to think, hey, how effective? If 10,000 people came to an exhibition, what was the conversion? who were the serious buyers? What is the cost per conversion versus the crores of infrastructure and lakhs of square feet of tenting or stalls that you're actually creating? Why don't I just have 100 people with an invitation sent out, very personalized, have them in a room like this, give them a virtual tour of my products or so on and so forth. Of course, it has its limitations, but we learn to live with it. If I can do 10 events like that versus one event which has 10,000 people, but my cost per conversion is extremely high, I think that's what people are ultimately going to come down to in this market, which is why I use the word disruption. Disruption is definitely going to come with this entire digital trend. And I think we all need to ride that bandwagon. Clients are talking about continuing work from home. It's working out much better for them. We just had a client call this afternoon, and you will not believe it. They have 3,000 people. They have moved 3,000 chairs, the proper office computer chairs. They have bought 3,000 chairs and shipped them to everyone's residence, saying, guys, you're not coming back till October. Please use these chairs so you're more comfortable and you can work for 8 to 10 hours. I think that's fantastic. Why should they go and spend 30 lakhs on rental in an IT park, their electricity bills, their overheads, so on and so forth. This way they can probably bump up salaries by 10% and still save 10% at the end of the day, or probably give you guys a great bonus at the end of the year. So I think the thought process of an event manager has to be in parallel to the thought process of clients at this point, whether it is weddings, whether it is corporate events, whether it is exhibitions, expos, whether it's live experiences. Of course, you can't take away from live experiences, and I'm a true blue live events fan, and that's how we all are, I think. But can you take away from it? No. But in the meanwhile, when you have no option, and the world has already been through so much, there is fear. Are consumers going to come out through that phase? And once, as I said, people taste blood, people are going to continue a trend. We are going to lose at least 30-35% of our business to continuing digital and virtual trends through this little pandemic that we have gone through. So be prepared for people to be more demanding. Be prepared for clients to be completely, inclusive when it comes to digital events. So I think what's working for them is what in line with what we should pitch. We should pitch what is working for them currently, and we should be on the same page. Everyone at every level is currently reinventing. That's completely the need of the hour. If I talk about renew, the third thing, Franz Kafka once said, there are some things that can only be achieved by a deliberate leap in the opposite direction. That's exactly what's happened to us. We're all stuck, and now we're waking up. Shit, what do we do? How is it going to work out? Should we do this? Should we reinvent? Should we go about this in a particular way? It's that time. It is that time to wake up and think. The time has come to renew our thought processes, to refocus our energies on what the future beholds. Old ways of doing business will not work in a post-COVID world. That is very, very clear. The math is going to change. The dynamics will change completely, throwing us all off track. I'll give you a small example. Say you're doing an event for 1,000 packs in a ballroom. First thing, that ballroom, as per the new norms, will be able to take only maybe 400 packs, but your cost of renting the ballroom, your cost of the infra, your cost of your sound, technicals, artists, everything remains the same. The only variable is literally your food cost. So are you going to be able to afford it? If a client is spending 4,000 or 5,000 bucks a head there, he's going to have to spend 2.5 times the same amount. At one point, he's going to say, hey, is this more value, or is me gifting my associates or my sales channel or my delivery channel, should I give them a nicer gift in this cost of maybe 10,000 rupees a head? Or maybe should I do a small event which is digital, get my message across to them, and then just give them more money to deal with it? Do people really need an event at this point? These are all thoughts which are actually going to come in. Until we don't renew the way we are operating and kind of find solutions for them, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be so important to adapt to the new ways, the means of going about what to do. I think staying lean, staying agile and nimble are going to be the need of the hour. Absolutely. I have so many learned friends on this group as well, who have done wonders with their businesses. But are the old tricks going to work now? That's what we need to ask ourselves very honestly. We all need to renew our creativity, our thought process, knowledge, organization skills, selling skills, and create value propositions for customers. Now it's not going to be, hey, this is his quote, this is your quote. That's also going to be there. Don't forget that. That's also going to be there. But the focus now will be content, and agencies will be compared against each other, not so much on cost, but more on value, more on uniqueness, more on solutions that are effective. And trust me, guys, as even Alok mentioned, this trend is here to stay. This is not about today, tomorrow, or it's not about staying afloat for the next 3 or 6 or 8 months. This is not. We all need to upskill, present ourselves in a new avatar. 2020 is truly the year of change. Whether you're an artist, you're an agency, from the supply chain, from the tech world, everyone needs to renew and reinvent. I don't know how the new normal will treat us, to be very honest. None of us do. And I'm pretty sure we all preferred the old normal, but look at it positively and approach it from the angle of getting a second chance. So I think it's time for all of us to have our game face on, reboot, reinvent, renew ourselves, and keep our businesses running. I wish you all the very best in the days to come, guys. Keep it together and ensure we move ahead with the times. Lavina, thanks so much for having me. I hope some of what I said made some sense, and I'm happy to take any questions right now. Of course, I don't have a product company, so there's nothing really for me to showcase, but if anyone has any questions, I think I'm happy to take it now.
Raghav, thank you so much. The most of the questions that are coming in is all about how are we going to monetize this so-called new normal. That is one of the biggest things that everyone wants to kind of understand, and that's what we want to get into. So maybe if you can just touch upon that for a moment, and then we can go into the next speaker.
Well, I think there's no set formula to this. If anyone knew the formula, it would be published out there and we'd all be doing business like we were. I think everyone has to understand the resources within your organizations or within your ecosystem right now. Use those resources to help you to do other lines of business or to do things you weren't doing. Use those resources to your best and maximum advantage to make the most of what you can. I think we need to understand the pulse right now. That's most important. Understand the pulse of what people are thinking. Understand the pulse of what people want, of what the consumer wants, what corporate clients want. Then kind of understand how we can think of solutions. We need to typically, at this point, think out of the box, think away from, that one type of thing that we were typically doing. So I think it's very, very important for us to understand how you're going to monetize it, boss. Each one has to find your own niche. I think that's very important. Everyone is running towards digital events. Everyone's saying, I will do virtual, I will do content, I will do digital. There's a digital company springing up every single day today because they think making Instagram ads in the future. I have a question here from Gleason Matthias. Will there be an amalgamation of offline with virtual? Absolutely. There are going to be hybrid events. And I think my friend Ravi Mehta is speaking on this very soon as well. Weddings, I still feel the wedding industry to an extent is a little safe. Because it's not governed by bodies. So when you do a corporate event, it is governed, right? It is governed by large MNCs who would have very strict norms, rules, regulations in place. Of course, weddings, people would take a little more risk. There is still money in the market, guys. Don't forget that. There is still money with individuals. Definitely a lot of it is going to move towards gifting in weddings as well. When I talk about gifting, I mean larger things, larger products, so on and so forth. Even in corporate, where do you guys think the last 2 quarter budgets are going to go for all the events or the conferences or the town halls we did? A lot of them are going to go towards Diwali gifting, where corporates in Diwali are going to boost the morale of their employees. They're going to try to make them happy, or when they come back to office. A lot of things are definitely going to go about that. Manjeet Singh wants to know about ground activations. Manjeet, ground activations is something that is definitely going to float. We've been discussing this across various forums. Specifically sales-based activations. Your malls and A-grade activations typically are not going to work because again you're going to have very stringent norms. But hardcore sales-based activations, up-country, uptown, with proper norms is something that's really going to be the need of the hour. As digital is the need of the hour, this too is going to be the need of the hour. Ashish Bhardwaj wants to know, conferences, exhibition, events of large formats do change. Absolutely, Ashish, they are definitely all going to change. You can't have 5,000 people in a ballroom or in a hangar for a large event. You're going to have to break it down. As I said, there are events where you come in physicality. that's only going to be a necessity. Only necessary events will be in physical. So absolutely, restrictions are going to be there, and there's going to be multiple things that we all need to kind of move forward and adapt to. So everyone in different spaces, I think, find your niche. Coming back to your point, how do you monetize it? Look, don't follow typically what a Book My Show is doing and say, hey, I'll get an artist and I'm going to do it and I'm going to sell tickets. Theirs is a different game. Yours is a different game. Theirs is a different scale. My only point is, what you start today, please ensure you're going to carry it through for the minimum for the next 365 days. Don't just do it to buy time. Don't just do it because of another option, because this is not something that you can do overnight. Honestly, we've been thinking for the last many months. I really haven't been able to come up with something that somebody else is not already doing. Let me be very, very honest. So it's not just something that we're throwing in. Anita says, will freebies last long? Hey, when I mentioned about Book My Show, trust me, they've got a long plan. Trust me, they're not just doing free concerts just for the fun of it. They've got a longer plan. They've got a bigger plan. They work majorly on data, and they have very deep pockets. So yes, if you are looking at doing virtual events for the next 3 years, invest in it. Invest in collecting data. Definitely invest in saying, hey, I want to do these 10 concerts out there because I want a database of 1 million or whatever XYZ it is. So absolutely, I think, sorry, there's a question from Nilisha. My major work was inclined in the field of show direction, choreography, stage entertainment. Since lockdown, cancellation of events, I was challenged to rethink and focus on my other skills. Into content writing, scripting, I realize I have ideas, content. Absolutely, Nilisha, if you are a choreographer, of course, I know you're a choreographer, I know a few. Look, think away from it. You can't be on a stage anytime in the next 3 or 6 months, right? And what are you going to do with your skill? What else can you do? Can you do classes? Can you do something virtually? Can you train children? Can you train adults? Can you do something with a children and parent training program? There are so many different things. We all have to think out of the box currently in terms of what exactly you can do with your current skill. I have never been on a platform like this before, but I felt I have a skill. Maybe I'm out here today and I may monetize it. I don't know. Next time I may be charging Lavina to do this. So you never know. But, thank you so much for these questions. It's lovely, and I'm available on LinkedIn and on my email ID at any point. Happy to associate with anyone. I would just say, as an industry, guys, it's that time that we maintain solidarity. That is extremely important. Let's hang together and stand together. I think enough said for me, Lavina, and over to you, Vijay.
Thank you so much, Raghav. You brought just so much of enlightenment into this whole thing. Everyone kind of have, the questions are still sort of coming in, but please do go on and, kind of respond to each of them on the chat. That'll be really, really helpful. Now I'd like to kind of introduce another path-breaking, you can call it innovation, that is there for the industry. It has, we've all heard of artificial intelligence. We all know what artificial intelligence is. I'd like to introduce Sharath and Kandinya from Invento Robots. They are, they're going to just present what they are doing now. Let's just move on to them. Sharath, Kandinya, please take over.
So, Lavina, thanks a lot for the opportunity. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So good to have you here, both of you.
Thank you for the constant touch. And we personally wanted to connect back with the events ecosystem because, frankly, right, I mean, we have all gone through the rush of, standing backstage when the biggest part of the event is about to happen. So we miss the adrenaline rush, and we hope that as soon as possible we go back to the normal world. But that actually kind of brings me to the new normal that we are a part of right now. But before I get there, I have with me Sharath Kumar, who is a senior account manager from our run, and Sharath has been working with you, as you know, Lavina, for a good deal of time in the past. And Kandinya, I had the vertical in terms of our event engagements with the robots that we've been doing. So, talking about the previous normal, and Ms. Raghav Kapoor, if I can maybe copy a couple of these things from you, we would we would kind of prefer to go back to the previous normal, right? But this particular presentation that we have, we are trying to explore how we as a technology company, how we as a robotics manufacturer can try and potentially get associated with the events domain as such to create something of a very good value, right? So, which brings me to this part. So, as a very small introduction about us, we are Invento Robotics. We are the makers of the Mitra robot. You might have heard of the robot that was inaugurated by PM Modi ji at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit back in 2017. And since then, we have done about, I believe, somewhere close to 270 to 280 events in the past 3 years. At multiple levels in terms of corporate, some of it private, and some of it tech functions and innovation fairs, trade shows, so on and so forth. And Mitra and Mitri robots have been in critical parts of a lot of events in terms of the robot being a brand ambassador of an up-and-coming brand, or being kind of sort of a sales agent where the robot promotes the new innovation that you're trying to bring into the market, or even be an entertainment agent where it goes around, has a fun-filled conversation with you, so on and so forth. And there are about 6 different use cases that we have explored in terms of what can the robot do and what should the robots be doing in terms of engaging with the visitors of the event. But which I will walk you through anyway. But the primary focus that we have at the moment is how exactly do we acclimatize ourselves as event organizers, as event directors and entrepreneurs to the new reality, right? Which from what we have seen, from what we understand at least, is number one going to be extremely contactless is one part of it. Is going to be extremely how do I put it? If you've seen the posters of Big Bang Theory where Sheldon says, "Hey, I'm a germicide. Sorry, I'm a germaphobe." So it is going to be on the lines of how can we make these events one effective and at the same time extremely safe for the participants that we have, right? So for the users that come around, and for the people that attend it, right? So these are the lines that we can try, and we have tried and brainstormed about a couple of solutions. Now we want your feedback as to where exactly do these robots essentially fit into the plethora of the services that we offer. Now, most of you have seen the Mitra robot. It is a humanoid robot which can talk, engage with the guests, entertain the guests, educate them about the programs that the client has, so on and so forth. And what brings us to this particular platform is that how we have essentially modified the current technology that we have in terms of supporting the post-COVID world, right? That's the future that all of us are curious about right now. So what we have done is take the robot, which is about 5.2 feet tall, which can scan the people that are in front of it, and then take a judgment call whether or not they have fever based on their body temperature, number one. Second, based on their body temperature. Second, try and have an understanding of what have been the symptoms that this person has been facing, so as for us to take a call whether or not this person's entry is safe into the event. And finally, connect them with a doctor, maybe over a video call, to understand if there is relevance in terms of checking on the safety of the person that has basically come into the event right now. Okay. Now, along with this, there are a lot of use cases that we have explored in the past. The robots that go around an event and then register people into the event. The robots that go on stage and then try and inaugurate the entire theme to the audience, or the robots that go around, click pictures, instantly put them up on Twitter with a customized hashtag. Okay. And even in some cases, the robots themselves have acted as MCs for your events, right? But having gotten all of this technology, what basically comes back is that how to use this, let us say, in the next set of after the lockdown is over, after when we go back to the proximity of the new normal, how do we conduct events that are then relevant to the new nuances of the post-COVID world, which is in terms of number one, being contactless. Let that be your registrations, let that be your product promotions, let that be any of the data that you collect. How can you ensure that all of this data is being collected without any contact, number one? And how can you essentially try and keep the premises clean, if I can frame it that way, in the sense that, and we're all aware of the fact that, let's say in bigger congregations, right? Let's say when more people congregate at a particular place, it is one in terms of, a potential cross contamination, which is by a human to a human. Secondly, even more importantly, uh, these bacteria, these viruses are something that can stay on various different surfaces for a long amount of time. For example, the same coronavirus can stay on a stainless steel surface for about 5 to 6 days, and it can stay on a glass surface for 6 to 7 days. So how can we essentially ensure to keep the premises clean is one of the kind of very key factors that the corporate and the event organizers are looking into, which essentially brings me towards the C Astra application. What we try to do with this application is to, let us say that we are conducting an event, right? How do you ensure that there is going to be a zero possibility of any cross contamination for the people who come into the event? We have solutions which go around, the autonomous robot, which will go around and disinfect the entire premises, essentially to ensure that the premises is clean and there is no potential possibility of cross contamination. So I would like to, Sharath, is there anything that you'd like to add?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I would like to basically briefly open up these two solutions to you and then take questions as to how do you believe that this can help all of us as an ecosystem to fight the virus that there is and to essentially support each other in the post-COVID world.
Also would want to show you a quick video on what exactly the robot is doing to fight COVID in terms of being contactless and also screening the users.
Hi. Name please.
Sharath Kumar.
Phone number please.
9030-300-300.
Let me check your body temperature. Please take a step back and look into the camera. Your current body temperature is 100.8 degrees Fahrenheit. Do you have a fever, cough, throat pain or difficulty in breathing?
Yes, I'm feeling feverish.
The screening is complete. Now you will need to go to flu clinic for further assistance.
Hi, Sharon. I see that you have fever with high temperature. Let me connect you to the doctor.
How are you today?
I'm feeling feverish, doctor.
Do you have any throat pain or breathlessness?
No, doctor.
It looks to be normal fever and not COVID. Mitra will issue the entry pass for you.
Thank you.
Please collect your pass and proceed through gate number 2.
Lavina, we would want to entertain questions, if any.
Yes, absolutely. Really good stuff. First of all, robots have already always been really, really super exciting for everyone, I think. And bringing them into this situation today is really the need of the hour, because everyone's almost paranoid of human beings now. There are a couple of questions that are here in the chat, which I've seen. I think is talking of robot opening an event for feedback. Aren't they two different poles? Ashish, if you can kind of explain what that question was, maybe Sharath can respond to you. Okay, I don't know where Ashish is, but what we will do is we will in the chat, if I can request you all to just put your contact information and details. So any questions, people can just come back to you directly and speak with you then.
Sure.
So, there are questions coming in. Maybe you can take them on the chat from Manjeet. Can robots sanitize the venue, I assume? Or can we load the software according to our program? There are several questions. Maybe you want to kind of take that forward on the chat.
Do we do it right now, or should we?
Yeah. Now is good. Now is good. Yeah.
I believe the first, this thing that we see is Mr. Ashish Bhardwaj, who says the talking of the robot opening and event for feedback are the two different.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you very well. Maybe you are
okay.
a little far from the mic.
Okay, is this better?
Much better, yes.
Okay, great. So to respond to Mr. Ashish, right? So taking the feedback and a robot opening, talking about opening the event. So fundamentally, I believe, we have two different variations of this robot. One, a humanoid robot, the one that you have seen in the video, that's got the thermal camera, which can screen the people, which is multifunctional. It is something that can be at your reception, registering the guests, completely contactless, driven by voice communication. Second, it is something that can also be on the stage, entertaining essentially, inviting the chief guest on stage and then, having a shake hand. Maybe in this world, maybe not a shake hand, but essentially being an MC kind of an entertainer on stage. Third, which is something which can go around, let's say during the break session, and then engage with people saying that, hey, play this quiz with me and I'll give you this Mahindra branded, this keychain, let's say. Play this game with me and I'll try to, take a picture of you and put that up on the Twitter. We'll build that to make you famous, right? So these are the conversations that the robot can come up with, which is the humanoid form factor that we are referring to, number one. Second, we have got a UV robot, which is about 6 feet tall, which has got 6 different light sources that go 360 degrees into your environment and then disinfect the place, right? So there are two different solutions altogether, two different robots. I hope that clarifies it.
So I think the other question by Manjeet has kind of already been answered about can the robot sanitize as well. So yes, the robot can definitely sanitize. They've already shown us that.
So I'm kind of assuming that when Manjeet said sanitize, it is to the effect of sanitizing the premises that we are in. Let's say that you're doing an event in HSBC, I'm assuming sanitization is the premises of that. In that case, absolutely. In fact, UV is the only technology which has been proved to be extremely effective in terms of keeping the premises clean, right? And when I say clean, it's not just the physically clean, but in terms of the kind of the microbes that are around. And UV, has been proven to, coronavirus as a family has been proven to be extremely, UV is proven to be extremely efficient in terms of addressing these, pathogens, number one. But if you're referring to, sanitization in terms of, distributing your hand sanitizer, etc., that's a completely different use case.
And also, question by Puneet, can we load software according to our programs? Yes, definitely. You can load and customize the robot accordingly. And the robot will be very much personified for the event.
In fact, in a couple of places, further to what Sharath said, in a couple of places, we have put the logo of the clientele on the robot, and the robot more or less acted like a brand ambassador for the client. Meaning that, hey, for example, the robot was an agent of promoting the Alturas G4 car, the SUV, while it was a part of the Delhi's Auto Expo. And Mahindra essentially picked up a lot of attention because the robot was going around and then was trying to promote the Alturas G4. We have, to address Mr. Ronak Kankaria, we have done about, like I said, close to 250 to 270 events, and we have sent robots across the planet. We have done events in the US, in China, in the Middle East, etc. So we have a lot of these robots available. So up to you, sir.
Great. Thank you, guys. I think people, whoever more questions, they can just address them to you directly. Please put your contact details and all your links, etc., in the chat box so that they can just kind of take it forward. And good to have you both here with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And all the best to the event community. We have a long association. All the very best to you. Any ideas, any requirements that you have in terms of brainstorming in tech and robotics, please always give us a call. More than happy to participate in that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lavina. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, let's move on to our next speaker, Vijay Sabhlok, a great friend, someone who has been really, what can I say? Look at his technology. He's the only one with a customized backdrop. We are all just, here with our various houses showing, but he's come all professionally done. this exactly tells you, his kind of thinking, where his technology sense is. And there's so much to learn from Vijay. So I'm not going to take up any more of his time. Vijay, over to you, please.
Thanks, Lavina, for this lovely platform and this great introduction. Hi, guys. All of us have gone through life right now thinking doomsday has arrived and stuff has happened. Nothing of that sort is going to happen in our lives. But what's going to happen, there is a massive paradigm shift. And we need to respect that shift. So first of all, respect that coronavirus who has made you pivot. And it's made you think. It's made you, like Raghav said, lot of relevant words and a lot of relevant thoughts, that it has put a pause, not only to us, to every single person here. And it's going to get you more efficient. It's going to get you more relevant. It's going to get you with more energy. It's going to see that you create your values. It's going to do all that. And if you think this is, like, I saw a lot of comments coming that, oh, it's for 3 to 6 months, we'll survive. No, it's not. Because your clients have smelled blood on how they can do things cheaper. Your clients have smelled blood on how they can, do things differently. So remember one thing, as Raghav also pointed out, and I loved what he said, that ultimately you will have to dance to the tunes of your clients in a very simple way. You can't sell something which your client doesn't want, because you don't go to the market and buy something just because someone is selling it, right? So without further ado, I just want to say a last statement before I start my small little presentation, which I was not going to make, but I thought it was very important. The experiential world will never end. It's just that the delivery will always change. And it has been changed over the years. I've been in the event business for over 32 years. I've seen massive shifts and massive changes over a long time. So I'm just sharing my screen and then we can start. So this is the topic which I've been given: tech innovation in today's scenarios. Talk by me. I am the CEO and tech evangelist for Eventpreneurs. We are basically a consultancy firm who consult on a lot of technology and innovation for events, for museums, and for things like this. So what is innovation, first of all? And I always start off with this analogy: box and innovation. What do I mean by that? We all get told, think outside the box, think outside the box, think outside the box. Everybody is thinking outside the box. We as innovators who believe innovation is our guru, we don't think outside the box. We think what we can do with the box. So there is a difference and a complete different way of thinking. Our thought processes are very radical. Innovation is always there with what you have around you. Innovation is not invention. You're not trying to invent something. You're always trying to innovate with what you have. So anybody who's ideating will say, throw away the box. There's no box. Think out of the box. Yes, do all that from your point of view. From an innovator's point of view is, we will take the box you've thrown away and get it back into the equation and see that it is used in a different way. So you get a complete different look and feel of the box. That for me is innovation. That's what the thing I'm going to talk about. What's paramount in events from the technology perspective, from us, in terms of when an event is being designed, or I'm actually talking a little bit pre-COVID, and this will also come to post-COVID, and it will always come down to the new reality and everything like that. The things still stay the same. The thing will stay the same, because your first most important thing is your creativity, your content in terms of what do you want to do. After that, you're going to decide what platform, what technology, what things. So when I say in the old world, it's going to be whether I'm light, sound, video, mapping, X, Y, Z, a million things you can use. Today, you will be like, oh, what platform do I use? Whether I use extended reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, this reality, I use multi-technology, I use motion capture, whatever, you're still going to use that, right? But then it comes to the point of innovation. Who's going to innovate and marry the technology to the creativity? So ultimately, it is the innovators, the people who are going to think. You have so many technologies out there. How are you going to think and get this happening so that what you're going to deliver to the client is what you've actually said you will? So there is a difference in learning. There's a difference that technology itself does nothing. Ultimately, until you don't innovate it, you don't do it. And this comes to, a lot of the learnings can be taken from Apple. Apple didn't invent anything. Apple is not an inventor. Apple is an innovator. But because they innovate so well, they are the world's most valuable company. They are the best technology company in the world. They haven't invented anything, neither the laptop, nor the iPod, nor the phone, nothing, nor an MP3, nothing. But what they did was they created value. They created a want. They created a need. And they did all that only with innovation. So never forget innovation. Start thinking innovation, especially in the new world. So for me, creativity is imagination. Anybody can imagine, like I've had people even imagining like a candlelight dinner in sunlight. That's creativity. Who says it can't be done? It can be done. But I mean, if you're going to be in a European country in the Laplands and it is 16 hours is daylight, you're going to have dinner in daylight. So people still have candlelight dinners in sunlight. It works. But what is innovation? Innovation is the implementation of that imagination using science. Science here means technology. So you're going to take that imagination, which is the creative process which someone has put together. You're from a point of view of innovating that and implementing it using that imagination and using the tech you have on hand. It's the same thing with the box. Don't throw away the box, get it there and see what else you can do with it. That's the way I would think. And I know it's very different and very crazy what I'm talking about. Trust me, this is how I think and this is how I work with my clients. And always you have to keep on finding new and newer solutions, but you can't keep on saying, Naya tech kya hai? You can't keep on calling up your vendors and saying, oh, what new do you have? What do you mean new? Tech is the same. It is the use of tech which keeps on changing. And that is where innovation comes in. Innovating and processing technology is a very different radical point of view of events. And this is going to get more and more important because now you're dealing with kinds of techs where innovations are going to be even more crazier. I will come to that. When you innovate something, you also have to think about the process of execution. Remember one thing, you can't just say, okay, let's do this, I've innovated it, but then you've disappeared from the paradigm of the execution on site. Because execution ultimately is the most important thing in an event. You can't falter your execution because you are only as good as your last event. So for me, and this word is execution is the final law of innovation. You'll innovate, you'll do some brilliant stuff, but at the end of the day, if you do not execute it well, what's the sense of it? So all the people you need around you have to follow your vision as an innovator. They have to see that everything works as per your innovation. So innovation is always reinventing the wheel. That's why execution starts getting more and more important. So these are a few keywords now coming into the new world. We are talking about now, we have had this pause. We've had 2 months, 2.5 months to reflect. We have decided to do. These are my learnings. So first of all, we need to adapt. We need to adapt to what? To the need. Whose need? Your client's needs. Or to the need as per the situation. Or as per what's going to happen in the future. You will have to keep on adapt. And this adaptation is going to be over a period of long term because none of us know what's going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to end in 3 months, 6 months, nothing of that sort. See what's happening to flights. I'm a guy who used to travel like what? Like 8, 10 flights a month. Today, I don't want to get onto an aircraft. I don't. So I'm quite happy sitting at home. The point is I'm adapting. You will have to adapt to all the scenarios. At the same time, you'll have to evolve because at every point, there will be new learnings, new science, new things will be coming in. So you will have to evolve along with your adaptation. You can't say I've adapted, but then what does that got? That's got no need if you're not evolving. And then you need to accelerate. You need to go on the 6th gear and you need to zoom because, Achal said in the start that within 2 months, 3 months, they came up with so many new ideas and thoughts and innovations. They accelerated because they had no choice. Otherwise, they were getting irrelevant. If you don't accelerate your adaptation and your evolving, you will be termed irrelevant in today's world. So remember one thing, to stay relevant in the new COVID world, you have to think innovation. The innovation will come out from your decisions on how you're going to adapt to the needs and evolve to the learnings. So that's the whole point here. So there is going to be virtualization of events. digitization of events, and hybrid tech and hybrid events. Okay. There is a vast distinction between all these things. It's not the same. So let me first actually start with digitization of events. I should have put digitization on top. So digitization of events has been going on for the last 10 years. It's nothing new. Nothing new. The use of technology, and I mean digital tech. I'm not talking about light sound video. I'm talking about digital tech. Use of apps, use of digital tech, use of this has been going on in the event world and the exhibition world and the museum world for a long time. I myself own a digital company where we are building apps and everything for events, and we've been doing it for quite some time. It's pretty successful with what it does. You have to get into digitization of events, and it's going to get more relevant today. Because understand something, as a lot of people are saying, you've got to get cost efficient. You can't keep on having manpower. Simple things like your registration processes. Why do you need 20 people sitting on a registration counter? I can just have 4 kiosks, and you can just go with a QR code, and you're inside your this thing is printed, linear is printed, your credentials are done. You can go there. I can track you anywhere in an exhibition or in an event. I can come back with giving a lot of information and data to me. So digitization of events is to stay. That has got nothing to do with virtualization of events. Virtualization of events is actually taking you into a virtual world. And that is different from just a Zoom call. What we are doing right now is not virtualization of events. We are just doing a Zoom call. We are just doing something called video conferencing. So video conferencing also is a very old thing. Virtualization actually goes into different levels where you can actually interact with people. You can get into different streams of things. You can actually create a lot of stuff in virtualization where people start feeling that it's considered, let me take an example, gaming. How do you enter that virtual world? How are you so involved in it? How are you so freaking out? You as an avatar are playing games and you can see other people playing. That is what virtualization of events is going to become. Hybrid tech is there to stay. There are going to be a lot of events which are some participants really existing because the venues are going to become smaller. Some are going to be back. But understand something, the people also who are watching at home on the streaming will need to participate in that event. How are you going to innovate so the participation becomes more and more important? How are you going to ensure that they still get a feeling of that event? So that all is a part of innovation. The guys who are supplying you the tech platforms cannot tell you how to do that because it's beyond their realm of understanding. Their job is to get it running. Innovation, the thought of innovation, that is the most important. So the effects of digitization and virtualization, this is very, very important for you to understand why this is going to stay. It's got nothing to do with COVID or not with COVID. It's about these reasons, whether the COVID even disappears. Because of these reasons, this is going to stay. You're going to increase in your efficiencies of working. How you're doing an event, whether you as a company or whether your client as a company is going to use digitization and virtualization to increase the efficiencies of workflow. This is most important. You are going to create beautiful and massive interactiveness between people. People may not need to meet physically to create interactiveness between people. The workflow of ideas, the idea flows, the stimulations will happen in virtual worlds. It may happen in this thing, but the world will come closer through digitization. So this interactiveness is going to always be there for quite some time. You are going to create massive personalization. Personalization is extremely important in the digital world. A person sitting on in front of a screen involved in a digital event cannot feel impersonal. He has to feel that he's relevant and in a part of that process. Again, you have to innovate thinking. If there are 3,000 people logged in, how does each one has a sense of personalization in there? How are you going to create it? If you are going to do a social function through some form of virtual world, how are you going to create that personalization where the mixed reality is? And I'll tell you what is mixed reality. Mixed reality doesn't mean only people in a place. It means also that someone is sitting at home and they are touching and feeling something within and they are seeing a virtual world and they are still feeling the stimulants to create that personalization. It's a complex thought process. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. Maybe I've been slightly lucky that being in digital and in events for a long time. I understand this world a little better. So for me, it's not a great paradigm shift. It's just that what I've been harping about from the last so many years, that guys create digitization, create efficiencies of scale, create this, and people were laughing. Right now, they will have to do it. It's as simple as that. You will be able to mine very relevant data. Data is going to be king. Look at Mukesh Ambani. Data is king. And client is going to want data. Okay. Today, if you do an event on ground, you don't have data. Today, when you're doing a thing, you can create different kinds of data. Who attended what sessions, how many minutes did he stay, what did he do, who walked in, who asked which questions, who did this, everything is available to you. And that all will come down to increase of ROI, return of investment. Say, for example, if someone has to do a real event for 3,000 people, 5,000 people, on ground, 3,000 people conferences, I've done so many of them. Go there, get in so many people, flying cost of people, staying, this, that, entertainment, all that you do. You can do it at a fraction of the price from a digitized world, and you can create some beautiful interactions on digital platforms and virtual platforms. So imagine if your message is going across. Ultimately, why does a client does it? To get his message or to do a celebration. Basically, all conferences are done first to get the message that my target is increasing next year, dudes. So better work better, right? So that ROI, if he's going to get it at a fraction of his price, why will the client say no? So this is where I say that these things are going to get more and more important. And that is why virtualization and digitization of events are going to stay. This is what I believe in. The 5 Ps which innovation can achieve in the new world, in the new post-COVID world, whether it's virtual or on ground, it doesn't matter. Platforms don't matter to me. What matters is the way the event is going to happen. Prioritization. Always question the why. You are going to be asked this question. Tomorrow you go to a client and say, I want Vishal Shekhar to perform, or I need Shankar Ehsan Loy to perform, or Sonu Nigam to perform, or whoever else, or let's get down this artist from abroad. You're going to be asked only one question, why? Is this going to help me get a ROI? Is the return on investment going to go higher? Is my message going to go into? So that is where this questioning of why. You say, let's build this stage, let's do this. Ask the question to yourself first, why? So these things are going to become very, very important. It's not that there is no money to be made in events. You'll still make the same amount of money, but the money will be spent differently. This is where innovation comes in. Where is the spend going to go? The spend is going to go where you can increase ROI and where you can increase value. That's where the spend is going to go. Planning. This is the how. How are you going to plan the event? What are the texts you're going to use? Or how are you going to make people personalize into the thing? If you're going to run an on-ground event for say 8 hours, you can't run a virtual event for 8 hours. So how are you going to do it? You can't have people presenting a 45 minutes PPT on a virtual platform. People are going to walk away. So you have to understand the planning. Then the people who are there watching it, the personalization, again, I'm coming back to it, and the participation. They need to be involved. They need to feel personalized. They need to feel wanted. All these things are going to be very important. See, this is a different paradigm shift. This is a different psyche which people are working with. So this is where it's going to be very important. Tech will rule. Yes, in the production thing, tech will rule. Different kind of techs will rule. Digital techs will rule. Virtual techs will rule. This will rule. All these techs will start ruling about how and what you can do things. So you need to understand those techs. Platforms, irrelevant to me. Whether it's on ground, whether it is virtual, or whether it is hybrid. These things are immaterial. Ultimately, the top 4 will define everything. So even the one, I'm going back to the old slide, all these things, efficiencies, interactiveness, personalization, relevant data, increase ROI. Same thing will happen whether it is on ground or virtual or hybrid. So you're never going to go back to the old way of working. You're going to go back with client will want the data. The client will want to understand. The people who are coming in will want the personalization and participation. This is where innovation will help you do that. You need to think different. Always remember the following. Question the why. Always, always, always question the why. I've been doing it for a long time, whether it was on ground or nothing. Question the why. It's very, very important. content and context. Okay, your content is going to be king and context is going to be queen. You need to marry them, boss. You need to marry them, because everything is going to be content. I don't only mean, creative content. Content means the content of the whole event, whether it is the artist, whether it is, the walk, everything, the full content and the context of the event. Because if you question the why, you will find the context. So if you don't question the why, your content and context don't match. They have to match. It has to be a match made in heaven. Remember one thing, when you're doing a virtual event, the person who's watching it can get distracted in a second. His WhatsApp will ping, the phone will ring, daughter or son will say something, the dog will come running, whatever. Distraction is just a tab away. How do you keep them immersed? How do you keep them focused? How do you do that? How do you build a presentation for a crazy virtual event? It can't be a click virtual. It can't be that. You have to actually create things for virtual event. So again, content will be built differently. The context of that content will be different. These are very important. Emotions. How are you going to create emotions? Emotions can be created in a virtual world. You watch a movie today, don't you cry? Don't you laugh? The director, the storyteller, the cameraman, they are creating vistas. Like the camera guy is capturing a crazy thing. CG. All that comes into the most important things when they create emotions. Whether it's a lovely scenery, whether it's a mother crying for the son, whether someone is hitting someone or the villain is there, you as a person watching the movie get different emotions. The same emotions will have to be created in a virtual world. Otherwise, it's going to flop. Your event is a flop. So innovate, think, and do that. ROI and delta. Again, at the bottom line is the money. Your return on investment and the delta. I don't know if a lot of you all understand delta. Delta is the difference between two things, and it's measured in different aspects. Say, for example, someone says, if I do a virtual event and if I do a full on-ground event, what are the differentials between the two and how is my ROI going to change? So once you give that answer, that's the delta. So are people going to, and this is going to be very, very important for clients tomorrow, that how are you going to give them this information? Because the client will take a thought process of this delta and he will decide how or where, or she will decide how and where they want to go and how they want to do the event. So these for me are, always remember the following, very, very important. Innovation is my guru. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'm just going to stop my share and then maybe we can have a chat. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Vijay. As always, you have enlightened us a little more. And personally, I should say, I'm always looking forward for your sessions because every time I learn something new. So there are a whole lot of questions for you.
Oh my God.
From here. So maybe you want
to read them, just ask me the question, I'll answer.
Yeah. There's a whole lot of them. So I think one is how will digitization look for weddings? That is something that a lot of
digitization for weddings, I don't think that's really going to happen. It will happen that, say for example, if people are not being able to travel for a function, they will watch it online. But for me, weddings, like I think are going to become very, very personal for a short time. But the spend of a wedding is a very personal thing. Someone, a father or a family member has been saving up for the wedding of their children for a long, long time. They are sometimes socially obligated to do certain things. So ways and means of doing weddings will always become, it will take some time. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow. Wedding somewhere down the line will always come to a difference, but the spend and how they are spending on the amount of money they spend is not going to change. How they spend the money is going to change. Very, very big difference. How they spend the money. Are they going to get in smaller people and create more personal experiences? What are they going to do? Because destinations are not happening for some time. Nobody wants to go into quarantine traveling to a foreign country. Or for that matter, in our country right now also. So digitization can't work for social events beyond a point. That's my take.
Another question I think maybe you can take and then we can move on is about virtual exhibitions. What's your take on virtual exhibitions?
Virtual exhibitions are there to stay. Okay, a lot of people are already experimenting with it from a long time, and not only today. Virtual exhibitions have been going on in the last 5 years internationally. Because what they're doing is a lot of people who are doing smaller virtual exhibitions is when they have a few products to do, they are inviting people in blocks and pieces, and then they are showing them virtually everything what can do. You can now conduct large virtual exhibitions. I can have like 500 booths, 1,000 booths in a virtual exhibition, and I can get data, insane data out of that, because I know who's visited, who's asked what question, because that's all recorded, and you can just print out a data at the end of it. That's where algorithms work really well from a digital world. So virtual exhibitions will work, depends upon the product you're trying to sell. So that's my take on it. It all depends on how this world is going to change. That's it.
Super. Virtual platforms, Ronak, I think he's already sort of answered that.
There are thousands out there, guys. It doesn't matter. The platforms don't matter. What matters is your thought process, your innovation, your creativity, what you're going to do, how you're going to make it personal, how is the person going to jump into that screen and want to be a part of it. That is most important. Don't worry about the platforms. They're a dime a dozen.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Vijay.
I'll try and answer some questions while the next session is going on.
Yes, please. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay, we will now get into our next speaker. I'd like to introduce Sanjeev Kapoor. Sanjeev has, many of you may already know him. He is the director for Scorpio Events. Scorpio is one of the leading agencies, especially in Bangalore, but yeah, they do a whole lot of work almost all around the world. Sanjeev is also an avid speaker for many institutes, not just in India, again globally, and is also the president of KEMA, that is Karnataka Event Management Association. Sanjeev is going to talk to us today about the importance of collaboration and not competition. So changing views a little bit, just giving us a little insight into how we can collaborate further for greater success. Sanjeev, please welcome to this panel.
Thank you, Lavina. Thank you very much for my short introduction. So I was hearing all my dear friends' talks, and what I understand from all of them in my language, that coming together is a beginning, staying together is a progress, and working together is only the success, which I believe. So before I start on collaboration and networking, I love to show my small presentation. I'm just sharing my screen. It's a lovely weather in Bangalore, about to rain any time. Will you able to see the screen?
Yes. We can see
the screen. Okay, friend, I don't want to promote Scorpio event over here because most of you already knows or maybe have worked with the Scorpio event. So I'll take you a little faster over here, where my journey start and where the Scorpio event has reached at 2020. So there are some few Chinese client which I have done. I don't know whether I get money get back from them or not. Oppo was my biggest client and they're holding my biggest money. So they are some of my past work which I have done recently. The purpose of showing you this presentation, let me go a little faster over here. The variety of event I have done, the type of event I have done, and I've done the event where there is no events. I would like to say where there is no meme event. I started my journey in 2000, or I can say 1999 in Delhi. And after doing a 1 and 2 years in Delhi, I was lucky to basically get to do one good big event. That event was not that as successful event what we are doing now these days. I'd love to show you my first event, what we have done in 2000. and 1. You'll automatically see the quality change when I show you the 2001 event. Sorry, it is a little longer. So this is the event. You can see I got honored that I have had this event operation and execution where our AB Vajpayee was the speaker in NASCOM. Again, I got a chance to handle the first of India's Pravasi Bharatiya event in January in Vigyan Bhavan. You can see there's a lots of wrinkle in Flex because the technology Flex was very recently introduced over there. There we was using the thermocol backdrops and using either a painting backdrop, etc., etc. And I'm proud that the life and this event industry has given me opportunity to handle the biggest and who's in the event industry. Hope this will आपके थोड़े दिल में ये थोड़े से हमारे बिल क्लिंटन साहब थोड़ी सी शायद लगाएंगे. Is our ex-CM. This is our current first of the ambassador over here, our Rajdoot. I will love to share this. There are some stories behind of all these events, but I don't get a time to discuss all these things. So I love to come on my topic that what is collaboration, what is competition, what is networking, how do we can do that. So doston, I believe that the biggest secret of any business, even especially the event business, is collaboration. If we have a network, if we have a collaboration with each other, with our industry friend, our partner, our vendor, then I think so we will never face or need to fear with any competition. Or I can say we are the richest person if we have a networking and collaboration between of us. I believe collaboration and networking has a power to take out us from a difficult time, like a COVID time also, or any financial crisis, or any trouble you have. I think so collaboration and networking is the power who can take you out from that era. It can help you to get a new vision. The collaboration, you will surprise if collaboration can conceptualize the new events. I have done few IPs with the help of my carpenter. Collaboration has given me so much conceptualization that I got idea from my carpenter. Oh, this is doing that. So it is not that collaboration has to be an equal part or even manager or the person who has a better than knowledge than you. It can become from anything. And it can help you to do the event because we are event entrepreneurs. To do the event without paying any advances or maybe paying little bit money to the collaborating partners. So that's a collaboration power that you can get the advances, pay little advances, build the trust with the collaborator. And even in lockdown time, we all are basically for getting collaborating. So you maybe this collaboration will not allow you to feel alone. They may keep calling you. Sir, how are you? When is your next event? And can we do next event? What's your plan? So I feel this networking and collaboration has the power where you can delete the competition, delete the enemies. And I strongly believe in that. One more thing I would like to mention over here, that so many people are thinking that presenting yourself or saying what you are is the collaboration and doing a collaboration and networking with the equal people or not. I believe in that a relationship is not built by forcing other to understand you, but by giving them a confidence that you will never misunderstand them. That is my vision when I make friendship or do collaboration with any out-country people or college people or even student or even my employees. I do collaboration with my employees also, but I make them that I will never misunderstand them. I'll make them sure that I am understanding them and I'm requesting them, if you can understand me. दूसरों को मजबूर नहीं बनाना रिश्ते बनने के लिए. If they love you, they will be with you. उनको साबित गलत करने के लिए आपने कोलैबोरेशन नहीं करना है. उनको गलत ना समझने के लिए आपने कोलैबोरेशन करना है. And I believe if you really want to become a successful event entrepreneur, then don't make competition. Instead, make collaboration. Competition can make you a rich with the way of money. But I believe, and I strongly believe again, if making successful networking and collaboration is your weakness, then you are one of the most successful entrepreneur in this world. Money can come, money can go, but collaboration, networking will never go, never go, never go. That's a submission from my side, Lavina. I think I'm the shortest speaker in the chat.
Shortest, but very, very well said, Sanjeev. Collaboration really is in fact not the future. It has always been one of the most important pillars on which the whole event industry functions. The way we collaborate with vendors, the way we collaborate with independent individuals, with freelancers, all this is extremely, extremely important to success. You know, so I'm glad that someone's actually spoken about this today. Collaboration, not competition. That is how we are going to go ahead in the future together. That's how we are all going to actually go upwards and onwards in the future together. So thank you very much, Sanjeev. And I'd also like to thank Scorpio, you know, on another level for actually powering this event for us today. Scorpio, Fervent, and AVS, all three of them have come together to bring this session to you. So this is something that I also just wanted to just say thank you for. Because of this collaboration, all of us get to kind of learn from here.
Because you may be getting one Sanjeev Kapoor in this collaboration, but I am getting, I think, 105 people from here. So I'm already, I always believe in profit business.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sanjeev. Thank you. Okay, guys, now we move on to another favorite person of mine who I follow. I must say I follow Ravi Mehta, not just professionally, but I follow him on Facebook, and all of y'all should too, because he's got some really interesting points of view for everything that he says. So he will look at something and it will not be what you're looking at. You'll be looking at the same thing, but he will bring a completely different perspective to that same subject. So guys, please welcome Ravi Mehta, founder director of Robust Events. They have been in the industry for a few years now, and they have done some extremely amazing work. But today what Ravi is going to talk about is hybrid events, which is something that we all need to know about. We all need to kind of learn from what they're already doing. So Ravi, I'm handing it out to you. Okay, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you firstly for the Mehta Kehta promotion. That's what the hashtag is. Just a positive way of looking at life, nothing else. Secondly, on the subject, hybrid the new normal, all the speakers before me have covered a lot of portion of my content in which ways, but I'll still keep it to simple things. So firstly, I am talking on behalf of event management companies. All the tech guys, hi, we collaborate and work together. The hybrid has been always there. It's not a new normal. I mean, from the time we started, there have always been video conferencing, live streaming. They have been happening. Earlier, it was a choice. Now, it's an obligation. Simply put together. I mean, I remember initially when I started working, 2004, I was doing a doctor conference when a doctor was doing a live surgery in the operation theater, and 500 people sitting in the ballroom and watching it live. There was an on-ground setup. There was a huge stage, branding, all tam-jam there. At the same time, doctor is live streaming the entire operation. So hybrid event goes back then. Earlier, it was always a choice. Like I said, I've got a few examples of how hybrid events have been happening. International speakers who cannot travel, who got busy schedule, still you want to train your teams in India or maybe anywhere across the globe. The speakers have been on various video conferencing platforms to talk to their audiences. When there is a large R&R ceremony where you can't have all the teams travel from different parts of the country, they've been on through video conferencing again. At the same time, there's a huge setup at one place or one metro out of it. So hybrid has always been there. Now, how will things change going forward is something we should talk about rather. So Vijay had an interesting point on how tech rule the hybrid regime. I would say it will be equal after some time. Live events is not going anywhere. It's going to be there. It's going to be a little tougher to start again, but then it's going to be there, hand in hand with the tech thing. Your survival of the fastest is one of the points that I want to make here. People who learn hybrid events faster, quickly, better they survive in the industry. I mean, there's no choice. My ops team at this point has always been a setup team. I mean, go put up the setup, run the console, meet the client, do the event, simply put together. But now they're working on understanding how does a webinar work, or how does a virtual event can happen. They're attending demo sessions for that. While we speak now, an operation team is working and talking to all the hotels across the country to understand what is the internet strength the hotel can offer, what is the video conferencing or audio conferencing facility hotel can provide, what is the kind of hygiene methods, what is the kind of precautionary methods hotels across is trying to plan. So when we go pitching to our clients now, we know what to talk about. I mean, simply put, earlier the pitches used to have concept and cost. Now the pitches would need to have concept, cost, post-COVID measure and precautions, and innovation in tech. Now that's a compulsory part of it. What if we can't do this on ground? What is the way to do it online or on digital platforms? So people who not upgraded to those 4 parameters now will be little losing end on the pitches. That's the other thing we need to do in hybrid part of it. Another thing I wanted to raise here was virtual collaboration. So I've been hearing quite a bit these days saying that tech companies or digital engagement companies have been eating up of agency business. There's been a competition going on there. I don't see anything as such. I personally feel it's a collaboration we need to get in there. I mean, event agency is half without the tech part at this point, and vice versa. I mean, the concept can be ours and the implementation can be theirs. We have to go together hand in hand to build those hybrid events. And last point I want to put towards the hybrid event, your teams has to be upgrading their skills very faster, because going forward, at least for 6 months or a year at least, your regular events or regular methods ain't working. Hybrid is going to be heavy on all businesses. So team operation also required here. I would be happy to take questions and rather make it interactive here. I mean, if you want to just, do we have any questions, or have I been too simpler to understand or too difficult to understand?
Okay, currently no questions, but guys, any questions on hybrid events, how we can make them happen, what are the measures we need to take? Now, I was going to speak after this, but all of y'all have completely already spoken about everything I have to speak about. So instead of going on and speaking any more beyond this, I think Ravi, you and I can just have a conversation on what we are. We were both kind of like, all thinking about what are really the new ways of doing things. What is going to be, how is it that event agencies should actually be approaching all kinds of events at this moment? Hybrid, yes, one. But now there are questions that are coming, which is very simple, is that in today's scenario, how important is it really to have an in-house team now in an event agency? Is it even important anymore? You tell us.
I'm sorry, I missed half part of the question. There was someone knocking.
Yeah. Okay. It is. Is it now? Is still important for event management agencies to retain their production teams or their design teams if we are all going to go
think
this hybrid way, or we are going to go a virtual way, does an event management agency need to retain all their teams?
it just completely depends on the team. I mean, we spoke to our team. We actually spoke to each one of them saying that now this is the new thing. I know we've not done that before, but can we upgrade to that? Can we learn the skills? I mean, if we can do it, we don't have to shortchange you or replace you, because the need of the hour is this. I was a Ghudi Patia production operation guy for life before we started Rovers, and I still love doing my setups and and innovations in there. But then that's not the need of an hour. So my team actually said, yes, we will learn and we'll upgrade, and they've been doing it on a regular basis. I have no reasons to not retain them. Plus, when it comes to financial health at that point, we're trying to use reserves to manage the best we can in the scenario. And hopefully I'll be able to retain each one of them going forward also.
That's what I hope so. Okay. Another question from Amar is, Ravi, I want to know how hybrid events can incorporate entertainment.
Okay, now in a normal way, like you do digital event, when you have your artist performing online, I doubt somebody who has got a stage setup done and will take online artists to that. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'm not sure about it, honestly. Because hybrid event artist or maybe a small team or a one section of people would be there live on the venue. And the rest can just, see the streaming or broadcast of it.
Okay, another question is, should digital and event agencies merge to increase productivity and profit?
Yes, that's a definitive collaboration looking forward. It's going to happen sooner. We ourselves are talking to few digital companies, few tech engagement companies, because I'll tell you what, honestly, at this point, cost is also going to be a factor. We don't have infra for doing digital or tech things. They do. We have clients who can buy that. We have to merge together, wherein both of us can win and both of us can make money for ourselves to survive. So they have to go together.
Right. Super. So there's a question, who would you suggest to collaborate with in the tech space for budget events? I don't think he can make any endorsement or any choices here today. But maybe I think
whoever replies on quick timeline now.
I think this question should be asked on a private note.
Should be.
Yeah. And final question from Amitabh is, should event agencies hire an internal digital capability to manage cost?
Yes, we've already hired a copywriter and an intern tech guy on board for the new thing we're trying to do. So that is happening.
Okay. Again, more questions. Suddenly, lots. The ideal way forward, should we have to have a setup with AVL and collaborate with digital for larger spread? Okay, that's not a question. Okay, if we support digital and virtual events, what is the situation of all the vendors, soundlight, and the labor?
I think they'll come in more handy when hybrid takes a high as compared to digital events. For now, at least for a month or two, I don't even see hybrid going live on ground. I mean, unless you, so we need to have some time before we do that. I know the biggest pain these days is happening with the line vendors. I mean, the vendor partners who provide sound, light, production, they are in the biggest pain area. But I'm sure soon there'll be some way out for them. And hybrid, the moment it goes live on ground, they'll be back in business.
Super. I hope all this happens much sooner. I know in reality it's going to take about a year or so to actually get back to what we were. But going forward, let's focus on what we have currently, which is hybrid, which is virtual, which is digital. Let's all just look at that. And I think our time is also up now. We're at 5:30. So I'd like to just thank all of you, all the speakers who've been here. You all have just been invaluable. Again, I have to thank Scorpio. I have to thank Ajay Vadwani Solutions. And I have to thank Fervent Communications, because without the three of them, this wouldn't be happening today. But guys, thank you so much. We plan to do one of these almost every week now. So keep looking forward and stay tuned. Thank you all. Thank you, Ravi. I will see you on the other side. Bye. Thank you, guys.